This podcast is brought to you by Radio 786.
Now, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, NSFAS, has been placed under administration for the third time since 2018. Online student fundraising platform Feenix indicates that his latest intervention highlights the need for accountability, transparency, and sustainable solutions within the student funding ecosystem. NSFAS has faced intense scrutiny from political parties and civil society following repeated governance failures. Higher Education Minister Bhuti Manamela cited ongoing instability worsened by recent board resignations. To discuss this now, we are joined by online student fundraising platform Feenix CEO Cara-Jean Petersen. Sarah, welcome to Radio 786.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, with the minister's latest decision to place NSFAS under administration once again, how does this further affect vulnerable students and their funding?
So I think the important thing from us is we can only really speak about what we're seeing on the ground. And while NSFAS has indicated that while they're under administration, it's not meant to impact students' bursaries that have been confirmed and the distributions of their different stipends, that, the daily operations should go on as planned, but they're cleaning house internally. So what we expect to see on the ground is that the administration disruptions in terms of stipends being paid late, students still waiting to hear back regarding their unresolved disputes, that's still going to continue in the system. And that makes it very difficult for universities to confirm whether students are covered or whether they have outstanding debt, which makes it subsequently difficult for different funding partners, different corporate donors, individual givers to know who are the students in need. And so I think that's why partners like the Feenix Trust, which is the organization I represent, is we do very detailed debt verification with the institutions to really know who are the students already covered versus who are the students still in need. And as a community, how do we step up for those students?
You have appealed for transparency and accountability as this is the third time NSFAS has been placed under administration. Briefly expand on that.
So I think it's very easy to criticize when you are not in the depths of it. So I would definitely refrain, I think, from criticizing the current situation of NSFAS. I think our opinion, or my personal opinion as it stands, is that this isn't just a funding issue, it's a systemic issue. And NSFAS being placed under administration for the third time should be a wake-up call, not just for NSFAS as an institution, and government, but really for everyone involved in the funding sector, universities, different funding partners, to say, why is it that these systems are not adequately set up? What structures are outdated, and how do we all need to come together? So, for example, you have universities working on different systems depending on affordability, depending on preferences. NSFAS students are set on one system, but the student accounts is set on a different system that are not integrated. So you have a student's fee statement that doesn't always reflect the full account of what is the status of their NSFAS application, what is the status of maybe other bursaries they've applied for. And so we're not just calling to support the administration and definitely trust that the right steps will be taken. We're saying that this is a process that's needed, that is going to take time, that needs to be thorough to the best benefit of the student. But in the interim, can we look at the system? Can we look at the ecosystem of all the parties that need to come together to make this work? Because NSFAS does not work in isolation. They work with students who need to send the right documentations at the right time and give honest information. They work with universities who need to capture that information, also respond, and everyone is doing their best, but there's some kind of misalignment. I don't think that there's a lack of willingness. I think there's a lack of alignment and systems that support that alignment. And so we're saying that we support what is happening. We know it will take time, and what can we do to help in the interim?
You're talking about the student funding ecosystem, that will provide sustainable solutions. What are some of those solutions?
So the Feenix Trust is one, we would say, is that, and I mean, this happened back with Fees Must Fall when, students were protesting come 2015. We were very clear that the average household cannot afford the cost of tertiary education. So where does that leave us? I mean, our current data with students is saying that over 50% of our students come from a family household that earns less than 100,000 Rand per annum, but the average cost of a student per annum is now around 200,000. So it makes it near impossible for students and their families to actually afford a tertiary education, which is needed for them to be able to secure employment. So this is one issue that we're looking at, and we're saying this isn't a government issue. Government needs support. Yes, they have the NSFAS scheme, which is supposed to support just over 1 billion students with limited funding, but we need private institutions, we need businesses, we need everyday individuals to be able to come together and also support students with what they have. And so Feenix, what we do as an organization is we have a tech-enabled platform where students can come on board, create their own fundraising profile, and then champion their journey amongst their networks for individuals to make donations. But then we also have a team that works directly with corporate donors to administer their bursaries. So they get BBBE points, they're able to do their CSI funding through us to get the relevant tax benefits and make a lasting impact. And over the last 8 years we've been in existence, we've raised over just under 350 million Rand towards students, and we've supported over 6,000 students already in their education journey. So for us, we're saying we are here to step in the gap to say, if you are a business or if you are an everyday individual that cares about the education and future of these young people, go to our website, make a donation, have a conversation with us. And we know there are other partners in the ecosystem also doing bursary administration, also doing crowdfunding. So pick your preference, but there are other people out there that care. It's not just overly reliant on government.
Cara-Jean Petersen, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. It was lovely being here.
This podcast is brought to you by Radio 786.